Me over there? Wonderful. So, my title is Harbour Back, and I would like to harbour back to the first speech I ever gave. This wasn't just at Toastmasters, this was some time ago. This was all the way back in middle school. And today I want to talk about the legacy of a man who had a profound impact upon our world. His name was Fitz Haber, hence why I said harbour back instead of harken back. Fritz was born in Germany in 1868, and he died not too far away from where he was born in 1934. But yet, Haber's impact on the field of chemistry was groundbreaking and world-changing, including to this day for everyone involved. Haber is perhaps best known for his work on developing the Haber process. That's why it's called the Haber process. But what is this? The Haber process was like what chemists had dreamed for years, for alchemists. He was producing something out of thin air, managing to turn air into ammonia. Now this might not sound particularly interesting, but being able to produce anything from thin air, which is everywhere, was a very useful thing. And this process revolutionized agriculture because ammonia is used in making fertilizer. At the time, the only other way of making the fertilizer was to dig up bird poop from tropical islands where it had been gathering for thousands of years in these big mountains. And so this process stopped the need for digging up bird poop day after day with shovels, which personally, in my opinion, is a wonderful invention. The problem with any invention is that it has side effects, and this magical ability of being able to pull ammonia from the air had a big side effect in that ammonia can also be used for making bullets. Ammonia can also be used for making bombs. And when he made this discovery early around the beginning of World War I, it led to the arms increase in Europe that directly was used in both World War I and in World War II. Haber's contribution to science were not limited to agriculture. He also made significant contributions in the field of chemical warfare. Actually, to the point that in World War I, he was often referred to as the father of chemical warfare, producing mustard gas and chlorine gas that had a very large effect on the fields of battle. And like any good father, Fritz made sure to attend all of his poison gas's important performances. Like a good father, he visited all of the battlefields where his poisonous gas was used and personally oversaw its use so that he could design ways that it could be used better. During May 1915, he personally oversaw the deaths of tens of thousands of people from the effects of his poisonous gas in the Second Battle of Ypres. Despite the controversy surrounding his work, we cannot deny the impact that Haber's processes have had on us in the modern world. His discoveries and innovations have helped shape everything around us, and his legacy continues to be felt to this day. Over half of the food in the world, including all of the food that we eat every day, was produced because of the Haber process. The level of fertilizer that we produce every day industrially is all thanks to his contributions to chemistry. As we look into the future, it's really important that we think of all of the choices and lessons that we can learn from Haber's life. Throughout his life, he made choices along the way. Choices to develop certain things. He decided to be a very active participant in World War I. He died before World War II happened, but before that time came, he was very active in ferrying his fellow Jews out of Germany and had seen the error of his ways. The impact of Haber's choices was not just on the world around, but even in his own personal life. as a Jew living in Germany and having worked on poison gas, it was a sad coincidence that many of his family, close family, and local family ended up dying to gases that he had invented. This deep and profound kind of sadness is quite common in Haber's life, and while I was doing this research, I found there was many instances of sadness. For instance, his wife, his second wife, and many of his children and grandchildren for years to come either worked in how to help people who had been hurt by chemical warfare or ended up committing suicide due to not being able to help. And in some cases, both. Despite all of this, I think it's really important to look at how this can teach us things. So, for example, in Fritz's own life, he had participated in World War I, causing all of this damage with the chemical warfare. But later on in his life, he did great humanitarian work in trying to move and help people who were stuck in Germany before World War II. It is important that we strive to use technology in a way that promotes humans flourishing. And we can all make mistakes, and sometimes even our greatest achievements can turn around and have negative effects. Just like the Haber process. We must never lose sight of the fact that science is ultimately a human endeavor filled with its own mistakes, and that the choices that we make have real and lasting consequences. Thank you, Toastmasters.